After watching the man get dragged off by the guards, Han thought about the current situation. Glancing over at the priestess, he found her ability to be interesting. Han thought about his conversations with the elven princess, and how they thought there were elements trying to tamper with what they were doing. Though being sent back in time to the events before the city was destroyed, likely this was the timing for when the city fell. Han tried to picture what the gods and demons were thinking, going through all this effort. As beings with immense powers and abilities, was there a need to pull strings? With his power, there was no desire to interfere with what was happening in this world, aside from creating his city. After leaving the prison, all of them followed Idrenus to where they would be staying. I am sorry to hear how you are forced from your homes. Though as someone who explored dungeons, I can understand the inclination to discover new things, Idrenus chuckled as she talked to Han. It definitely is an experience, he vaguely agreed with her, not really paying attention to the conversation. Remembering what the priestess had said, Han asked, "You mentioned the overflow as if you know when it is going to occur. Is this correct?" Looking back at him, Idrenus smiled, saying, "Yes. With the abilities of the priestess, we are able to find out when an event is going to take place and have ample time to prepare for it. Truly, without her here leading us, we would never have become the prosperous city we are today." "How is she able to do that?" he followed up. "The priestess receives visions that inform her when the overflow is coming. These visions occur more frequently the closer we get to the event. And depending on the intensity of the dreams, she can determine how long they will be. To have such an ability would mean a significant advantage, compared to other people who wouldn't know until it happened. It was like developing the technology to detect microtremors of an earthquake and predicting the intensity." They continued to discuss mundane things as they continued towards where they would be staying. In front of them was a large building that looked like an inn. Idrenus went inside to talk to the innkeeper and set up rooms for them. Due to the dangers of traveling currently, there would be hardly any guests visiting the city, so there wouldn't be any issues with finding them space to stay. The inside of the inn wasn't very luxurious and instead gave off a more comforting feel. There was a simple dining area for the guests, with everything being made out of wood. It kind of looked like a saloon from an old western movie. Going up the stairs, each of the students and adventurers went to their designated rooms. Everyone seemed overloaded by what had happened, and watching one of their own get kicked out screaming for them to forgive him. The room Han had received was very simple, with just a bed, bathroom, and place to sit. There wasn't even a mirror, though there was a bowl for washing his hands and face. Laying on the bed, he was a little excited to watch how a city dealt with the overflow, especially this city, which was rumored to have been well fortified but still was overrun by the monsters. It was like being alive during a history lesson. A knock was heard from the door. "Come in," he yelled out. Both Celestra and Haiyun walked into his room, both with concerned looks. "What is wrong?" He reached out to hold Celestra's hand and motioned for her to sit on the bed. Haiyun grabbed the only chair in the room and sat down. Celestra placed her hand on his shoulder and said, "E, what are we going to do? Instead of being sent back to where we were, we ended up going back to the fall of the city. There is also the matter of watching the city fall," Haiyun added in. "This is a dangerous place for us to stay in, considering what we know will happen." "You could save them, right?" Celestra asked him. Haiyun also looked at him and waited for his answer. Instead of answering right away, he sat there thinking how to respond. Yes, I could prevent the city from falling, but the question is whether that is the right thing to do. What do you mean? Ha-Yun asked. Think about everything that happens between now and the time we originate from. How many things do you think happens due to the city falling? He asked the both of them. But what about these people? Celestra asked. Placing an arm around her, he hugged her. For someone as so kind-hearted as you, I understand this seems like a horrible thing to do, but we do not know how saving the city will affect the future. He was quiet for a bit. You must think I am a horrible person for thinking it alright for all these people to die, right? Celestra shook her head. No. Even if everyone else thinks horrible things about you, I know that you are a great person. It does not matter whether you do things that are bad or good. My feelings for you will never waver or change. Leaning his own head on hers, he said, It means a lot to me to hear you say that. Though I think it is wrong for us not to help those who are in need of help, I can respect your decision considering our special circumstances, Ha-Yun said. I will keep you safe, so you do not need to worry, Han told her. Ha-Yun shook her head. With you near me, I never feared for my safety, she laughed and said. I do not know if that makes me someone that takes things for granted or not. No, it just means that you can count on me as being a friend. He looked at her straight into her eyes. Seeing his earnest expression, Ha-Yun began to tear up. Feeling embarrassed, she quickly stood up and rushed out of the room. The two of them sat there, unsure what to say after Ha-Yun's emotional departure. Do you think she's alright? Celestra asked Han. I am not sure. It seems like she is trying to keep things locked away, and is worried about them coming out, he told her. Feeling mixed about seeing Ha-Yun like that, he could understand being in a position where emotions had to be bottled up, preventing them from leaking and being exposed to the world. Are you okay? Celestra looked worried after seeing his expression change. Yeah, I was just thinking of something. He brushed his concerns aside. Celestra looked at him and placed both hands on his face. You do not have to hide yourself away from me. I do not care about your past, so do not feel that you cannot share things. I know. For so long, I have been keeping things buried, so it is a little difficult for me to open up. I hope you can be patient with me. Of course. I'll always be waiting, so take your time. She nodded her head, tears starting to come out. Wiping her tears from her eyes, Celestra said, I think you should go and talk to Ha-Yun. Seeing her earnest expression, he kissed her on the lips and stood up. Finding out where Ha-Yun's room was from Celestra, he walked out of the room. He kept on thinking about how she reacted when he told her that he considered her a friend. Ha-Yun didn't look hurt by the statement, and instead looked grateful. Reaching her door, he knocked and asked, Ha-Yun, this is E. May I come in? Please, leave me alone, E. I just need time to be alone, Ha-Yun yelled out, sounding as if she had been crying. Ignoring her request, he opened the door, which wasn't locked, and entered. He saw Ha-Yun standing in front of her window as she cried. Turning around after hearing him come in, Han saw tears coming down her face. She quickly turned away, trying to hide her face. What is wrong? He asked her, concerned about why she was acting this way. Nothing is wrong. Please, leave. She pleaded with him. The floors creaked as he walked towards her. Listening to his footsteps coming closer, she huddled as if trying to hide from him. Ha-yoon, I am your friend, and seeing you like this, how can I walk away? He touched her arm, trying to soothe her. Feeling his touch on her arm caused her to flinch away. Seeing that she didn't run away, he gently grabbed her arm and turned her around. With ease, she faced him but lowered her head, letting her hair cascade down to hide herself. Taking his hand and lifting up her chin, her hair covered half of her face. Seeing her like this both hurt his heart, but also made him see how gorgeous she was. Though he didn't have romantic interests in her, Han could admit that his heart was moved. Using his fingers to brush back her hair and seeing her face, Han whispered, I am here for you.